Welcome back to Goofballs. I'm Kenneth Arthur. I ain't got no more. I've had a bit of a breakdown, I think. And so we're dropping the niceties and time to get real, just like the real world. However, Johnny, I walked by UCB Sunset today. When's the last time you came across Sunset?
I think like 3.5 weeks ago, I had to go into Hollywood for something, and I drove by just to play Sarah McLachlan's "I Will Remember You" and then stare at the building.
Uh-huh. Andrew, you obviously haven't been in LA for quite some time.
Hey, man, don't talk about where I am.
Oh, that's right.
Okay, all right.
I forgot.
Goofballs. Yeah, I haven't been in LA for a while. I was just being goofy.
Yeah, well, no, I get that, but I know you're one of your biggest idols is Chris Kyle, if I may say so, in public.
I wouldn't say that, but I like the book. I definitely wouldn't say that, but
Yeah, maybe
yeah,
I went
definitely.
too far to say hero.
Yeah.
We all know it's Eric Snowden.
But I walked by it myself. Johnny, when you went by it, did you see all the trash or?
No, there wasn't. I didn't
Any
notice
trash?
any more trash than usual.
I noticed quite a bit. I was walking by. Let's get someone over there. If you're listening to this, if you're Amy Poehler or Matt Besser, let's clear up the front of Sunset because it was like a dumpster. But the show and the NFL, Johnny, would you say that the NFL is like a dumpster?
The NFL is dead.
The NFL is dead.
Football has died this week because the Eagles are seemingly out of contention to win the NFC.
Aren't you
East
equally
now.
happy that the Cowboys are even worse?
Equally, man, it's so hard. This is, you know what? That's a great question. This is the week that really has me questioning my mentality of a Cowboys win or a Cowboys loss is almost as good as an Eagles win, because now with football team and Giants winning, when they win, it's almost worse than if the Eagles lose. Because if everyone just loses, then it just seems, the Eagles will naturally, their talent and whatever will supersede it. But when the Giants beat a division leader at the time with Colt McCoy, and then the Washington football team beat the only undefeated team in week 13, and then the Eagles still have a chance, like within one score in the fourth quarter, and then lose with their backup, who they put their franchise quarterback that they just gave $120 whatever million deal to. It just seems like a daunting task to be like, you know what? I'm glad I'm so happy the Cowboys lost. Fuck them. Fuck them. What about me? What about my guys? That's where I'm at this week.
The Eagles, they won the division a few years in a row. Everyone thought that this would be, if any team was going to have a second half surge, the Giants and the Washington football team were at the bottom two. That's for sure. Speaking of one of those bottom two, he's right back on top. But I know that Andrew Grace always rises from the ashes again, just like the New York Giants. You beat the Seahawks, a team that I'm quite affiliated with.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
All right. Look, first of all, I know there's a lot of Seahawks fans who listen to this podcast.
True.
I want to tell you right now, don't feel bad. The Giants have an elite defense, a disruptive, confusing, all over the field, whistle to whistle, sideline to sideline. Let's go. The Giants are going to win the Super Bowl. I think with Colt McCoy under center and Jones Mahomes. Look, dude, there's a big win. That was a big win, but I'm pretty proud of the NFC East in general. Just for the way we're sticking in there. I feel bad for Carson Wentz, man. I kind of like.
He's very rich, and he didn't deserve it.
Yeah, you're right. Thank you for being my compass there.
Yeah, fuck him. Win, huh?
Yeah, Carson Wentz. I was watching a low light video from him after his rookie season. I was going to play some low light videos. If you tune in to the video on YouTube, which I know we have just so many listeners who do that, you'll be able to see that I do have a nice little screen here. And I wasn't sure if I was going to play like Eagles highlights or something like this.
Good luck finding them.
Well, yeah. And I didn't know. I was going to play, I should say, I was going to play some Carson Wentz interceptions and such and put that on a loop. But, what are the degrees here of copyright infringement? I just want, because I think I can be all right as long as I commentate it the whole time. I don't know if anyone wants me taking over and talking about the Eagles the whole time. I think Johnny does enough of that. And and we all do. But I don't know if I can do that. So instead I just got, hey, subscribe to Goofballs. Does anybody listen on SoundCloud, Johnny? Do we know this?
Yeah, a ton of people. I think that's the majority.
Yeah, listen on SoundCloud. Probably a lot of Seahawks fans out there. They're upset about losing to the Giants, but really, this is definitely one of the best. This is the best win of the season for the Giants, right? I mean, they did. Who's better right now, football team or Seahawks?
Seahawks.
Oh,
Seahawks.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, football team just beat the Steelers.
Yeah, the Steelers aren't that good though, dude. They just have a good record. I think the Steelers are like pretty unreliable. Like I watched that full game and like they're definitely gonna make a little run, but they have a really weird offense. I feel like it's good.
They have a weird offense.
I don't know what I mean. I don't know.
They have a weird offense. The Giants have the third lowest points for out of any team in the NFL. I'm just looking at the standings right now. They're the only division-leading team that have a negative point differential, and that negative point differential is 34.
Hey, Wayne Gallman didn't have any issues. At least I know that.
A nice Jewish boy. I love Wayne Gallman.
Is this a player you like, Andrew? Wayne Gallman? Are you aware of this Wayne Gallman?
He'd rather have Deion Lewis 25 carries a game.
Probably would. I know Deion Lewis was in there.
Hey man, but dude, the Giants. How about the Giants running back core, man? We got options. Saquon went down. We were just like, we're just gonna play like 5 running backs. It feels like.
Yeah.
There's always got fresh legs in there.
Yeah. The Giants beat the Seahawks 17-12. Very pathetic scores. It's not any good. Nobody wants to watch these. I hate watching the Chicago Bears. This is the worst team to watch. I hate that they're on prime time so much. Do you guys have a team that you hate to watch the most? Not the team that you hate the most, but a team that you hate to watch the most. Maybe not even one that you're affiliated with.
Yeah, it's hard to find a team that's just worse to watch than the Eagles, even if you're not a fan. Just objectively, they're bad, they don't care, and the defense like really, really tries for the first half, and then they're like, fuck it, going into halftime. But like a team that's hard to watch, the Jets aren't that hard to watch once they get going. The Jaguars,
yeah, I think people they want to see the Jets and the Jaguars because of how bad they are. Ultimately, they probably regret it, but they usually want to see it.
I'll go ahead and say the Chargers, just because 2/3 of the team are like objectively bad. Like special teams and defense are very bad. The defense will make a play, but then the rest of it is just like it gnaws on you. And Justin Herbert's great, but watching him throw at like people that aren't catching the ball well, it's just that I think it would be more frustrating to be a Charger fan.
The Chargers play the Patriots this week.
I watched too much of that game.
45-0. Ain't much to see there. Not even a good offense to watch for the Patriots in a 45-0 game.
But just the last 2 seasons, I forgot the stat, but it's an insane number of games they've lost within 3 points. Like
Yeah, they're
it
always
was some
finding a
crazy.
way.
Yeah, they always find a way to lose. So that'd be the worst. But also the Broncos.
Broncos pretty bad. You're right. Yeah, the Broncos
The
pretty bad to
last week,
watch.
they didn't have
Yeah.
a quarterback. That's so funny.
That was crazy. That no quarterback guy. You ever like when you play Madden and you're like, I'm gonna throw in like someone who's not a quarterback in at quarterback just to see how it goes, and like these, a lot of these guys who aren't quarterbacks can chuck the ball like a good distance because
Cam
they're
Newton.
incredible athletes.
Ooh,
Oh man, big burn. But
Taysom Hill.
it was really
Ooh.
it went
True.
exactly like it would have gone in Madden. Like he was like he did his best, but it was like it really was like it was just clear the guy wasn't really like an NFL quarterback. It's
Yeah.
but
There's been a
but
few of those this year. Maybe
Yeah.
it's obviously it's related to COVID. It has to be because of the Broncos situation. But yeah, there's been some
Yeah.
pretty bad play out there.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
think
I
this
would-
is a
yeah.
good time just to interject. Prayers and thoughts go out to all of our frontline workers and essential workers out there that are doing what needs to be done during this pandemic. We applaud you for it. We wish there was more PPE out there for you, but there's not. So go ahead, take off your socks, wrap them around your face, do whatever you have to do to, make sure people have groceries and I can get a Little Caesars pizza. Thank
Just a
you.
little one.
G bless.
Andrew, would you rather order Little Caesars or Papa John's?
Little Caesars. I wouldn't order from it. Little Caesars for a brief period of time was a bit of a problem for me. That $5
Hot and ready, the hot and ready, baby. You know what? I will
It's a hell of a
never
deal.
order a pizza from Little Caesars. I will never call up and be like, make this pizza pie for me. But fuck, there's some of those days where you're driving by one and you see they have that. It's like a heated
Genius.
refrigerator that's just had those hot and readies there. You're like, man, fuck, I got a Lincoln burning a hole in my pocket, and all I need to do is throw it down on the floor, grab one, and run away.
I had some dark days doing Postmates. Just like I made
Oh my
I
God.
just cleared like $23, and I was like, we're driving by a Little Caesars, and I'm like, I could just get a pizza with that and I'll go home.
Yeah, there you go. It's not a bad, when I was doing DoorDash, that was definitely an appealing thing to see all that food. And then you're just like, well, now I wouldn't mind having worked an hour for a nice Little Caesars.
Yeah, first day after I won the Powerball, I remember just being like, I should get a Little Caesars.
You mean like buy Little Caesars, the franchise?
Oh, when I say won the Powerball, I mean I got 2 of the numbers in the Powerball.
Oh, okay.
And I got $8.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I was
That's
like,
the dream.
Ooh, you know what? I'm ready, and that pizza's hot. Perfect name. I'm ready.
Yeah, it's I wonder who's the guys. If we, we have a football podcast. Sometimes we connect it to comedy. You could even say, who's the hot and ready of football? Johnny, this is what you do. What is the answer?
I would have said Derrick Henry before this week, but he got shut down. I'm going to say the hot and ready, believe it or not, is Patrick Mahomes.
I'll believe it.
He's very, very good, and he's on fire right now. I could come up with a dark horse if you give me a second, but Patrick Mahomes.
Oh yeah, well I want to give Andrew a chance, but then I want to go back to Patrick Mahomes because it reminds me of another question I want to ask you, Johnny. But Andrew, the hot and ready, the guy who's good to go. Who do you think
in the NFL right now?
No, let's go with the NBA.
Oh yeah, let's go. Yeah, Premier League. You fucking shithead.
What was the game I watched last night with San Fran and the Buffalo Bills? Yeah, I'm gonna go with the quarterback for the 49ers is
Nick Mullins.
Yeah, he's not good, but he's hot and ready.
That's a good
in that backup thing. He comes in, he's kind of fun to watch.
He is. He's been running it better, maybe better than Garoppolo. That's for sure. You know, he was hot, but maybe not ready. Garoppolo.
Yeah.
Johnny, Patrick Mahomes, comedian. What are your thoughts? I see him in State Farm commercials. This guy might have the least amount of charisma I've ever seen them try and put on camera.
No, Eli Manning's been on camera in a comedic role.
True.
If you have to give me, like, if you tell me, like, give me one quarterback, like any recent, let's say the last 20 years, any quarterback in the last 20 years that you could put on, like, I want to put this person on camera and have them read scripted lines and have whoever's watching hate them 3 lines in, it would be Eli Manning. Absolutely. I mean, Michael Vick drowned dogs in a bathtub, and you would rather watch him in a CarMax commercial.
He's in like a pregame show now.
Yeah.
I forget which one. He's like
he's
like one of the co-hosts of a pregame show, like on ESPN or Fox.
That's how uncharismatic Eli Manning is to, like, when he's just standing still and just like trying to smile, his mouth is open in a way that makes you think he came from a different planet, where he's just like that, like that kind of gross, yucky mouth. That's what Eli Manning is. He's an uncharismatic younger brother, yucky mouth.
You know, I'll defend Eli Manning.
Oh, you disagree? Okay.
I'll defend Eli Manning before Andrew does, just because well, not even defend him necessarily, because you're right, he's a dope, but he's at least a nice dope. No offense. Eli is one of our most ardent supporters since day one, I think.
He's a beige dud. He's a beige.
I'll say this about him, you know, as far as nepotism goes, and, you know, the fact that he did get attention coming out of high school because of his family, you know, and all this kind of stuff. At the end of the day, he leaves with 2 championships. He's going to be able to say, like, well, fuck it. You can say whatever you want about Eli Manning. I got 2 Super Bowl rings. So he's got that. But I agree.
Yeah.
I'd never put him like on SNL or anything.
But he knows how much of a dud he is.
He's
you know what? They're going to rename.
Hold on, you've had
the color of paint that they put on the walls.
Order in the court. I'm gonna have to listen to the defense attorney.
Okay, and this is not biased, because I'll tell you who I think the worst person to watch at a commercial is, and it's someone who's also from a team I like. Okay, Eli Manning's endearing. All right, the guy, like, you know, I heard all these great stories about him, how he had a hookup in every away stadium. He got a guy that, like, he'd, like, you know, give a little money to, like, you know, pay a guy at another stadium to hook him up with a 12-pack of beer for the bus ride every time, and he'd be the guy with the beer, win or lose in the bus. But anyway, I think he's somewhat okay on commercials. Now, he's not good, but he's so bad he's kind of funny. I hate Joe Montana, Notre Dame a lot. I just don't like him. He just, there's something about Joe Montana and those Skechers commercials, and now there's some other thing that popped up on my Instagram feed, and he's got like a weird sketchy businessman vibe to him.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is.
What are these guys doing? Well, I mean, all of the former players and a lot of the current players who are doing commercials, what are they doing? Why couldn't they just go do something else for not money? You know, that they had to take these opportunities to be like, yeah, I needed an extra $50,000.
I got 3 words for you, Kenneth, and they were popularized by the famous R&B trio Destiny's Child. Bills, 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 baby. They got those bills. They have sons and daughters that, like, oops, I wrapped my Maserati around a palm tree in Brentwood, daddy.
Yeah,
and they're like, oh my God, I have to continue to be this never-ending fountain of support for these people that don't truly understand who I am as a person, because they never strapped on pads.
I brought this up in the chat. I've brought this up several times in my other sports live, but Quinnen Williams. What is Quinnen Williams doing? Selling me Tide Pods or whatever with Quinnen Williams and Peyton Manning. And this isn't Quinnen Williams' fault, but what is Tide marketing doing that? This didn't sell a fucking single pod.
It doesn't have to. I don't think it has to. The Tide Pods, have you tried them, Ken?
Yeah, they're delicious.
It's a fantastic. Fantastic product. Don't eat Tide Pods. That's very dangerous for children there listening. Tide Pods are great.
Yeah.
Life-changing.
Dude, I disagree, bro. I disagree. I straight up, like, the saving grace for Subway after their scandal was Justin Tuck. Like, I needed to see Justin Tuck marketing those subs for me to get back on board with Subway for a little bit. Like, I lost my appetite for Subway completely with Jared. And then Justin Tuck and Michael Strahan did a local tri-state New York area campaign, and I was hungry for Subway again. I think that
you only get the one reality, the reality in which that was the commercial. How do you know that there wasn't another commercial that they never made that would have hired you or somebody else that to be like, hey, you guys have spent so much money on these comedy careers. Let's see what you can do.
I didn't play in the NFL. I don't know.
I ate more Subway when Jared was, outed and prosecuted, because I'm like, wow, if that sandwich is good, and if they're gonna serve that fat, skinny pedophile, then I'll have no trouble going in and not getting hassled.
Yeah, I'm just being a jerk. Whatever, it's all good for those.
No, this is good. This is good convo. I like I feel like we're skiing off piste tonight.
No,
I think it's a new show.
We hit all of it.
Of
Kenneth eats Tide Pods. Eli Manning is a sack of shit, and we're glad that Jared Fogle got murdered in prison.
You've been wearing a lot of prison outfits recently because you think Jared looks so good in prison outfits. That's how good Jared is at selling you stuff.
Well, not anymore. If I want to look like Jared, I got to cover myself in a bunch of dirt and sleep in a pine box.
Is he dead?
I hope so. I hope he. Okay. I hope so. I don't know. I can easily look it up on the internet. Should I give his Wikipedia one hit? Okay.
Oh yeah, sure. Why not?
I also never bought his story. He lost a bunch of weight eating a loaf of bread every day. Like,
yeah, it's not a healthy diet.
Yeah.
Looks like he's still alive, but it says years active, 1999 to 2015, and
years
then convictions.
Active in what?
Convictions, November 19th, 2015. 2 children he has. He has 2 children. I only have one. What a fucking country.
Dude, how do they come up with the years active? Every time I look up someone, I'm like, who calls that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, did one random like improv class like 4 years before they did anything? Is that active? I don't know what.
Yeah.
Like,
when is
what
active
is? Yeah. What is active?
Andrew, would you rather watch the Super Bowl or Game 7 of the NBA Finals when none of your teams are in it?
Ooh.
Oh, interesting. The Super Bowl because it's all the food.
Oh yeah, it's like a good event.
Yeah, it's a good event.
Johnny?
I would probably say the same thing because more people congregate for it. And I like a kind of party atmosphere, except now with COVID, you can't really do that.
Last party
we're in a pandemic. Last party I went to, my son's first birthday party.
Hey, I was there.
Yeah, you were. That's the last party I remember going to. And it was great. My wife made a homemade, like a honey.
Oh, man.
It was like a honey, a vanilla honey. What is the icing? It was like a cream cheese icing. It was fantastic. It was all honeybee themed. It was bumblebee themed because he's a little honeybee. And yeah, it's a fantastic little child.
Andrew,
what was the last gathering congregation big party you went to?
Yesterday.
My sister. No, my sister's wedding last September. I didn't do.
Oh my God.
Didn't do. Yeah, I mean, I went to bars and stuff after, but actual like party.
Yeah. Were you like best man? Were you one of the groomsmen?
I was a groomsman. Towards the end, Towards
the end, not at the beginning.
Yeah, I was like a brother. No, I was like
alternate,
obligatory. It was good though.
You get laid?
Oh boy, yeah. I don't know if Andrew was ever kiss and tell here.
It was fun. It was a fun night, Johnny. We had, good time, and I went with my girlfriend at the time, so we had a nice, wholesome celebration.
Who were you dating back then?
I don't want to talk about it.
Hey, look, it's just the three of us. I promise you.
Well, if you liked it, you probably should have put her in.
One thing
that's a
I've
shot again. Let's be honest.
enjoyed tracking all season long because I'm so curious to see how the points will come out. And getting down to the wire, we don't really have that many answers. It looks
Locking
like the
it in.
Browns and the Steelers are pretty good locks at this point. The Chiefs are a lock at this point. We all pretty much had most of those. Although
Saints look good.
We'll get to Andrew's pick here for the next lock it in. We got 4 points. We got 4 weeks remaining in the lock it in game, 4 weeks remaining in the season. I hate when the season is over. It's just the absolute fucking worst. As soon as these days hit where you just realize you're only going to get X amount of playoff games, a lot of them are going to be hard to watch. But that's where we're at. And so Johnny, who's your 4-point lock?
Because I looked at upcoming schedules for the last 4 games for the remaining wildcard teams, because I already have all my division winners, I'm going to go ahead and lock in the current leading NFC West team, the former St. Louis, now Los Angeles Rams, for a wild card spot, because the Seahawks have an easier schedule coming up and they play each other. So I expect the Seahawks to come out of the funk that allowed them to force them to lose to a team like the New Dork Giants.
There you go.
And they're going to come out of the funk, and I think they're just going to eke out the Rams for the division like I picked them earlier, and the Rams will get one of the wild card spots.
Yeah, well, you don't have – I mean, I guess you do have – I don't know if we ever – you locked it in. So, you don't have another choice, and that's where I'm at too, because I locked in the Seahawks last week. Don't really have another choice, although I'm not going to go with the Rams this time around. I'm going to try and go with one I think is a little bit more sure. So I'm going with the Dolphins as a wild card in the AFC because I already locked in the Bills as the
Before
AFC
you completely lock it in, look at that schedule. They play the Bills.
I don't care. That the schedule's bullshit. We're all fucking lying to ourselves. You never know. The Jets are probably going to beat the Seahawks this week. I don't know. Andrew, you've got some picks here to make. What would you like to lock in?
Miami Dolphins, wild card.
Okay, just to be sure.
But you got to look at the schedule.
You've already locked in the Dolphins as the AFC East champions in Week 10, so that's going to be a no-go for you.
Yeah.
Okay, I've been hot on these guys for a while, I guess.
Yeah, so much so you forgot.
Let me say that Andrew has locked in, and I'll go over all of ours because what the fuck. Andrew's locked in the AFC West as the Chiefs. The NFC East is the Giants. Not looking too bad. That's a 13-pointer.
That looks very good now.
That's a 13-pointer if you get that. You lock the Seahawks for the NFC West, so you got to root for them to beat out win that schedule like Johnny's saying. You got the Bucks winning the NFC South, which is probably not going to happen.
Not a good
one. The Dolphins in the AFC East could happen. They're only a game back, and they still have to play the Bills, I think. But yeah, you're probably. I think the Bills are going to win it. Saints as a wild card, not looking good. Colts in the AFC South, they're tied.
Okay.
The Raiders as a wild card, not looking too good for any of us. Johnny didn't.
I haven't done that yet.
Me and you did. Packers in the NFC North looks pretty locked in. The Browns as a wild card last week. So what would you like to do?
I'm doing all right. I'm going to go with I'm hot money right here. Hot money. Because I'm just setting myself up for a big W here. It's a bit risky, but because if it does work out, the Dolphins beat out the Buffalo Bills, and the Bills come in second, and that is where just go wild card, potentially set myself up for a big point game here. So I'll go Buffalo Bills wild card.
I think the other strategy you could do is just randomly select all the teams that could potentially be a wild card winner, because you have so many division winners that aren't going to win the division. So just do a crapshoot and try and get them early.
That Giants pick, maybe it'll be the tiebreaker.
Yeah, but he picked the Bucks and the Saints.
If he gets the Colts and we get and if the Colts win the AFC South, Johnny, me and you are fucked because we got 12 points on the Titans.
Already Andrew's out 20 points because he picked the Bucks to win the division for
Well, I'm
11
not saying he's not
and the
already. Yeah. I'm
Saints
just
to
saying we
win the
could catch
wild
up.
card.
We
So
could
he's
catch
already
up.
down 20 points in my book. I'm only
You got
down
0
13
on
with the
13
Eagles.
points. You got 0 on 12 points if the Titans lose. You got 0 on 11 points if the Dolphins pull out the East. You got 0 on 10 points if the Rams beat the Seahawks. So you could be wrong on 13, 12, 11, and 10.
Yeah, but I'm going to be right on those, and Andrew's going to be wrong.
Well, that I can't argue with. Well, all right. We got 3 weeks left. I don't know. We got some other picks to make. I think it's pretty interesting. I think more people should be playing this
I
game.
like this format. This is fun. Yeah.
I think it's fun. Yeah.
I think it's fun. I think it's good, and I think it's fun. And I'm like that we're doing it.
I'm enjoying
I like it too.
Well, hell, why don't I pull up profootballreference.com? That's something I can do if you watch the YouTube channel for Goofballs. Johnny, where do they find the Goofballs YouTube channel?
Just go ahead and search Goofballs Podcast on YouTube, and it'll pop right up.
I hope that's true. I feel like YouTube like hides shit and searches.
No, dude.
I'll do it right now. I'll give it a try.
Good. I believe you.
Let's see what happens.
You might have said Goofballs Football Podcast, but
okay.
Goofballs Podcast, first thing that pops up. It's also the channel name. Andrew's beautiful fucking face is the first thing you see.
Hell yeah. Well then, go do that. And by the way, I don't know, if anyone's been listening to this show for all 16 months, which is about how long we've been going, and you've never told anybody else about it, and that's fine. Some things are personal. I don't have a social media, so I'm not telling anybody. Who am I to judge? But feel free to tell anybody out there. This is basically the only way we'll ever grow, which has never happened in our history. So if you're out there and it feels like a thing to do, but we have to do a better job as well, right? We have to be a little bit better.
I could do a little more. I don't know if I've ever shared anything, just mostly because
COVID makes you feel guilty. Yeah.
No, I also like people to think I know a little about football, and I'm not exactly.
And this proves you wrong.
I'm a little naked on this podcast,
It's hard to be proactive on such a fun, goofy, sports-related podcast. When I'm about to share on Facebook, like, hey, we goof on, we talk about what draft picks could have been or should have been, and then the post right before I post is like, my uncle's dead from COVID, and I'm like, well, what are you gonna do? So, it's hard. It's just hard nowadays.
Well, let's talk about some of these races then. We can actually talk about, and by the way, races, I mean playoff races. Okay?
Ooh, yeah, let's see
that kind of show.
Yeah. Ooh. Woof.
Let's talk about some of these playoff races. By the way, let's finally do the races postseason, where let's take all the races. This is the type of segments we're going to do from now on. Is the tournament of races. No, let's talk about the Colts and the Titans, right? So kind of surprising that these teams, well, not surprising. Both teams are 8-4. I'm surprised the Titans have kept up their pace from last season. Thought they were a flash in the pan. Thought it could have been a mistake with their re-signings, but they're there at 8-4. And Johnny, you feel pretty confident this will be the team?
Yeah, because if you look at the schedule, the Colts have a tougher schedule than the Titans.
Yeah, I'm zooming in.
Also, they have Phillip Rivers.
YouTube. But tell me, Andrew, from your phone, can you read what that says?
Let me see. Let me double click on you. This is good viz test. Yeah, I got November. Okay, 10th Thursday, November 22nd, 8:20 p.m. Box score. 6-3 in Indianapolis.
So then,
Colts.
Andrew, read off the final 4 games here for the Tennessee Titans.
Okay, the final 4 games. You got the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Jacksonville Jaguars.
And then I want you to also give us the win-loss.
Okay.
Like, say the Jaguars, and then predict a win or a loss.
I'll win.
Okay.
Definitely in old Jacksonville. Detroit Lions, Matty Staffy T's gonna make a little, the interim coach, they got a little extra juice, but I predict they'll win that game. Packers, I'm gonna go loss. I'm gonna go loss to the Packers. A-Rod is juicing
in
right now.
Lambeau Field.
in
This is one of the
Lambeau.
most historic fields in the world. Did you know this, Johnny?
Lambeau?
Yeah, Lambeau.
Lambeau is a very historic field.
Very historic. Now, Andrew, I'm sorry for interrupting. Last game there.
Named after the car.
H-Town, Houston Texans. Hey, that's going to be a fun one. That's going to be a fun one, I think.
Deshaun.
I honestly, after that loss today, I say that that Deshaun Watson finishes the season out strong and goes off, and they lose that game.
2-2. So you're saying 2-2. That's a 10-6 record. Let's go over to the Indianapolis Colts. I'm going to kick it to Johnny. Read me the schedule and tell me wins and losses.
Okay, so Raiders is a tie.
Good.
Texans, I just think Deshaun Waddy is just going to go off towards the end of the season, and that's going to be a loss. Steelers if it was in Indianapolis, it would be a loss, but because it's in Pittsburgh, it's going to be a win for the Steelers. So that's a loss for the Colts. Yeah, they're gonna, and then they'll beat as Andrew said, the Jaguars pretty handily. So they're gonna go 1-2-1 in the last 4.
1-2-1. So that does make the Titans. If this happened, that would make them 10-6.
Best case scenario, they go 2-2, and the Titans go 2-2, and the Titans have the tiebreaker over the Colts.
There you go. Thank you for breaking that down. So that is a good sign there for Tennessee.
Oh, do they not? I thought they had the tiebreaker.
I don't know.
Indianapolis has the tiebreaker?
Do they? Well, then this is
well, then I'm
Goofballs
stupid.
has led people astray once again.
I was almost positive that Titans had the tiebreaker over the Colts.
Let's bring up the Washington football team and the New York Giants. I'll read the first one here. I'm all zoomed up, guys. I'm all zoomed in.
ESPN says they win the tiebreak over Indianapolis based on best win percentage in division games.
Then it's good for Tennessee. I'm telling you guys, no other comedy football NFL podcast on the face of the world, is doing this right now. Go to YouTube.